Hello, I'm the chief editor of Sally's Book Talks. In daily life, friends often ask me, you guys at Sally's Book Talks have covered so many great books. Can you recommend a few? Usually my reply is, do you have any specific questions? You want to learn how to manage money? I'll give you a book list on investment and finance. Wanting to do a good job brings many benefits across different industries. To answer your questions for you, for example, we'll be airing on Monday about the power of apology. This book tells you what apology is useful for in relationships and how to apologize effectively. Tuesday's episode on redefining sales teaches you how to impress investors and make them come to you. Wednesday's episode on high sensitivity is a gift. This book discusses what a highly sensitive person is like and how to harness this trait to make it part of your gift. These three books can help you solve specific problems. Their focus is very clear. Some friends say, I don't have any specific problems. I just want to read some books. Such situations usually have two layers of meaning. One layer is they indeed have no specific problems, just want to spend time, quality. The second layer is they want to improve themselves, but aren't clear on which aspect to enhance. So in both cases, I would suggest you read some literature. Literature to say it's useful, it's not really. Its surface is usually a story, not solving specific problems. And reading classics doesn't necessarily make you understand truths immediately. Take, for example, the novel Candide that will air on Saturday. The author is a thinker from the French Enlightenment period. Voltaire's writing aimed to wake people up from the illusions created by Christianity. The so-called Christian illusion was the mainstream thought back then, believing this world is the best of all possible worlds. Because God is merciful, so we humans should just accept the status quo. Saying this, the question arises. Today we might think, I don't believe in Christianity. I have no illusions. What substantive meaning does reading this novel have? Besides knowing what book the great thinker Voltaire wrote, it has meaning. At least I think there are two. First, reading novels can help us spend time qualitily. We can only live in 21st century China. In novels, we can live in 1800th century Europe. Unlike watching movies or TV to kill time, literature uses its unique artistic power to show us how people lived in another time and place. The experiences and feelings of those characters, through our imagination and reflection, become our own. Such a mental process helps us expand the depth and breadth of real life. Second, beyond those bizarre plots, good literary works that survive today have an essential feature: their values and insights. They're still useful for us today. They can lead us to ponder issues that still exist today because contradictions in human nature never change. And thinking is universal, though it requires a bit of language adaptation. For example, Candide is a highly relevant Enlightenment novel. In modern terms, it's a coming-of-age story. In the novel, Candide is the adopted son of a baron. His teacher tells him that everything in this world is perfectly reasonable. He believes this without question and practices this optimistic theory. And this is like our youth when we're just starting out, whether from parents, teachers, or society. We have a so-called set of values, but this is only the start of growing up. Then Candide faces a series of upheavals. He's kicked out of the castle, beaten, robbed, impoverished, and also strikes it rich. Finally, he returns home, an ordinary person who, after enduring hardships, achieves his dream and lives happily. This is a classic story formula. Voltaire wrote a philosophical novel that doesn't just tell a fun tale. So while going through these life trials, Candide constantly questions whether his teacher's optimistic theory is right. For example, he starts to doubt what optimism really is. Is it insisting that everything's fine even when suffering? On the road, he meets a poor scholar named Martin. Candide asks him, do you believe people have always been killing, lying, ungrateful, and exploiting? Martin said, "Look, aren't animals always about the strong preying on the weak?" Candide replied, "Isn't that obvious?" Martin then said, "Then why do you expect human nature to change?" Candide said, "That's very different because human will can make free choices." What was called optimism now has new expressions like everything happens for the best or existence is reasonable. You see these everywhere in WeChat articles. So, have you ever questioned these notions in your heart? Have you considered that your current life could be different? Candide and Martin discussing predatory human nature. Isn't this the still prevalent social Darwinism in today's world? So, do you believe human free will can build a better world? What did Candide experience, shifting from believing in God's perfect world to trusting free will? How did this transformation of thought occur? We must read and savor it ourselves to truly grasp this. After reading, we may agree or disagree. Even renowned books shouldn't be accepted uncritically. But entering into questioning and thinking means entering true growth. Finally, a preview. Next Thursday to Saturday, we'll cover Montesquieu's Persian Letters, Shakespeare's Othello, and Voltaire's Candide. Welcome to comment below about literature or suggestions for Sally's book talks. See you next week.